Hey, you know what? I like to enjoy life just like anybody else, but sometimes there's a deeper level of service that I must do. Practical tips for practical people. That's AllendaOnline. Here we help to answer some of those awkward questions that almost no one wants to talk about, but almost everybody thinks about at some point along life's journey. My name is Allenda, and I'm not your ordinary life insurance agent. So, let's get started. Today's question comes from Molly, and she writes, "My husband doesn't believe in getting life insurance, but I do. What can I do to get him to get life insurance?" Thank you for your question, Molly. Here at AllendaOnline, I always say that these types of real-life questions can be difficult to deal with. I'm the first person to say that I don't have all the answers, and I'm not going to have the solutions, for every household and every family everywhere in the world. I can offer a suggestion or two based on my own experience with clients over the years. And if you're new here to AllendaOnline, I am a licensed life insurance agent in the states of Pennsylvania, Virginia, Ohio, Delaware, Indiana, and Florida. And I focus mainly on final expense life insurance. And if you can gain some insight here in any of my videos that will help you and your family, then that's the best that we can hope and believe for. It is an awkward subject, but a subject that we all face as human beings. And I'm here to serve wherever I can. So let's dive in. If you believe in getting insurance to handle your final expense wishes, but your spouse or your partner or your significant other strongly objects to the idea, I have 3 reasons why they may feel that way and 3 tips that can help you to work through that situation. Reason and tip number 1. Sometimes when a person objects to getting life insurance to help pay for their final expenses, it's because somewhere along life's journey, they or someone they care about very, very much had a bad experience with a life insurance agent or a life insurance company. Now, oftentimes there was a misunderstanding there in the mix of something that was said or something that was done or something that was not said or not done at the time. And it left them with a feeling of really not trusting that insurance agent or that insurance company ever again. Not just life insurance, but just insurance in general. They just don't trust it too much anymore. So here's a suggestion. If you don't know what kind of insurance experiences your husband may have had in the past, ask him. You may find that there's a legitimate concern there that the two of you can really talk through. And if a spouse or a partner or a significant other is willing and open to talk it through, then they most likely may also be open to hearing more information. Final expense life insurance is more so for the ones that are left here to handle final arrangements than it is for the person who has passed away. So when there's love between the two people, then most of the time I've found that the two people want to make sure that there's very little financial burden left behind for the spouse or the partner to deal with, as long as it's an affordable solution. In a situation where a person was really turned off by their past insurance experiences, with new information from a licensed professional who knows what they're talking about and can communicate what they're talking about in a clear and understandable way, then the 3 people can usually reason together and trust can be restored. Reason and tip number 2. A person may object to getting insurance for their final expenses because of the thought that they may have in their own mind that having a final expense life insurance policy automatically, somehow, increases their chances of dying sooner. I remember talking to someone who said one of their friends got a final expense policy and sadly passed away like a week later. Then he said, it happened to another one of his friends who shortly after they passed away. So now he's fearful of getting one. And unbeknown to his wife, because he never shared his fears with her, this topic was a sore spot in the household. So consider this. How people think is how people think, and fears are real to those who feel those fears. A compassionate approach and tone can work best in a delicate situation like this one to inch both people in the direction that works for both of them. Because let's face it, whether you have extra financial help with a final expense insurance policy or whether you don't, or whether a spouse or partner or significant other is fearful of getting life insurance or not, it doesn't erase the fact that a death will still occur at some point and someone will need to pay for it. Most likely, it's going to be the spouse or the partner or the significant other or someone else, who's close to the person, a friend. It really is a matter of the heart, wanting to make sure that a plan is in place, pushing through any thought or fear of premature death. Again, when there's love between the two reasonable people, then most of the time, deep down inside, they really do want to make sure that very little financial burden is left behind. So perhaps being compassionate that there may be a fear of dying will help the conversation move forward with an understanding that the best time to prepare for the unthinkable is before the unthinkable happens. Because people are uninsurable after they pass away. You cannot get any kind of insurance after the fact. Now, before I give you the third and last reason and tip for the day to get the awkward conversation started when a spouse or a partner or a significant other doesn't believe in having life insurance, but you most certainly do, I want to make sure that I tell you about my free resource guide. After you finish watching this video, consider checking out my free resource guide that you can find over on my blog at AllendaOnline.com. I'll also put the link down in the show notes below. If you already have life insurance, my free resource guide will help you determine if the life insurance you have now, or maybe the one that you're thinking of getting soon, will pay out in the way that you need for it to, for one day, for your eventual funeral or cremation, that you may want to have. Now, let's get to reason and tip number 3. I choose to specialize in only one type of life insurance because it's straightforward. It's non-complicated. It's a non-complex type of insurance that just about anyone can benefit from using, even if they have regular or ordinary life insurance set up already. Now, my team and I, we focus on final expense because it's designed specifically to take care of a burial or a cremation or final expenses or any other practical household bills that may occur at the time of planning for a funeral. Now, that may seem practical and simple enough and makes sense for some of you to do, but the third reason and tip I have for you today why some people say that they don't believe in life insurance, even when they sincerely don't want to leave a financial burden on their spouse or their partner or their significant other, is because they feel they just won't be able to afford it on a fixed income. Now, in my experience over the past several years, talking with hundreds of families across the 6 states where I'm licensed to write final expense life insurance, I definitely understand that the money part can put the brakes on the best of intentions. You can't get blood from a turnip, right? Who came up with that saying anyway? Blood from a turnip. Okay, well, what I mean is, a spouse, partner, significant other may take a stand against insurance because they may believe there's no way to afford a final expense plan, so why even talk about it? Not realizing that a plan oftentimes costs much less than a monthly cable TV bill or a cell phone bill or some of the other things that we sort of just do throughout the month. When that day comes for me, I'm going to be gone. I only have right now, while I'm still here, that I can ask myself, those serious questions. How much of a bill, how much of a debt, how much of a financial obligation is within my comfort level to leave back here for my loved ones to take care of? Here's some more things that need to be given some serious thought. What are the things in the foreseeable future that I know are coming up? Never mind the things that I don't know that are coming up. What are the known things that are coming up? Like the need to move into a new place or to buy or repair a car or to pay for college tuition or home repairs or taxes or medical bills, helping a son or a daughter with wedding costs, or just helping financially with anything. Family life may be relatively quiet right now at this moment. How best could a spouse or partner or significant other financially handle unexpected costs right now? How much could the foreseeable future or an unexpected future or an untimely death of a loved one shake the household to the core? That's the serious talk that we can have right now, like for real. And I had to have this talk with myself. But if the money is low, what can a person do? A final expense starter plan may be the answer for that. If you want to learn more about that, just pop on over to my blog at AllendaOnline.com and drop me a line on my contact page. So there you have it. To recap, if you want to take care of this all-important task, but you find that your spouse or your partner or your significant other rejects even the thought of getting their final expenses taken care of, is it due to an experience he or she had with a less than ideal insurance agent or company? As a life insurance agent, I need to remember that people have a lot going on in their daily lives. No one wants a pushy, obnoxious agent talking to them. Is it a fear and belief that putting a plan in place means the end will somehow come sooner? Again, as an agent, I must always find a way to be sensitive to a known fear while at the same time giving information that can help and not hurt people. Is it that they just don't think it could possibly be affordable to them? A small starter plan can help a family in big ways when they need it the most. Molly, thank you so much for starting us off with this great question. I hope you got some value out of today's episode and that we gave some insight on why there may be strong objections to getting funeral insurance and tips that can start the ball rolling on getting through that awkward conversation. Question of the week. Do you have a spouse or partner or significant other or even an adult son or an adult daughter that won't give this topic the time of day, but you know the importance of having the talk? I'd love to know how you handled that situation. Time for Human Highlight. Each day is a new day of choices, of mercies, of grace. If no one has told you today, let me be the first. You are very special and you aren't here by mistake. We are all human. Sometimes humans mess up and sometimes humans do well. May this day be another beginning that you discover something wonderful because it's in you.